Welcome, dear friends, to Echoes of the Baobab, where the whispers of our ancestors, the songs of the land, and the heartbeat of Africa come alive. Here we chase meaning and not what's trending. We seek to discover and recover who we were, and most importantly, we unite across tribes, borders, and cultural heritage through lessons learned and experiences shared. Gather close as we journey through tales woven in the shade of the great Baobab, stories of courage, love, wisdom, and wonder passed down through generations. The fire is warm, the night is young. Let us hear what the Baobab echoes tonight. The two faces of pride. In the thriving city of Riverstone, where modern skyscrapers rose beside ancient courtyards, lived a man whose life was shaped by ancient wisdom and modern advancement. Richard Williams was both a businessman and a guardian of tradition. His identical twin sons, Daniel and Michael, were considered a blessing of abundance. This was the case for all sets of twins born. Riverstone, though modern, held on to its cultural heritage. The Williams twins were ready for marriage, and in Riverstone, no man could marry without first proving his worth. A wife was more than a companion. She was a crown of pride and a covering of grace. And so, the twins prepared to complete the second coming-of-age ceremony, a test of leadership, provision, and responsibility. Only then would they be deemed ready for marriage. When going through the second coming of age, young men were not just given tasks to complete, they were given an audience too. The young women of Riverstone, and yet still in some cases, families sent representatives to observe how these men worked through secret camera footage. Oh, the joys of modern technology. Daniel approached the task with humility. He spoke with farmers and traders, learning their needs, and worked alongside his team rather than standing above them. When an elder stumbled while carrying water jars, Daniel lifted them onto his shoulders. "Rest, mother. This work is ours together," he said gently. Michael, on the other hand, treated the test as a chance to display power. He dismissed advice given to him by the trained craftsmen and those experienced enough to know better, and barked orders at his team. When a craftsman cautioned him about cutting corners, Michael scoffed, "I am a son of Richard Williams. Do not teach me how to build." His team worked in silence, loyal only to his father's name, not to him. Away from the ceremony, Grace, the personal assistant to Miss Alexandra, worked tirelessly with a project team preparing for an important client presentation. She handled schedules, reviewed documents, and coached the nervous interns, while her boss, Alexandra, basked in the spotlight. The presentation went well, and the client publicly praised Alexandra for her brilliance. Alexandra smiled proudly, though she had done very little of the actual work. Later, however, Alexandra's father pulled Grace aside along with the team. "Thank you for not embarrassing my daughter," he said quietly. "I see what you did, especially you, Grace. You carried this project with grace, yet you never once demanded credit." Grace smiled brightly. "My pride is in doing my work well, sir, not in whose name it shines under." Meanwhile, Vanessa, one of the prominent daughters, schemed in her circle of friends. She wanted a coveted spot on a prestigious industry panel, not because she had earned it, but because another young woman in her circle had secured a place the year before. She marched into the organizer's office. "Do you know who I am?" she demanded. "My father's name is on half the buildings in this city. If I am not on that panel, you will regret it." Intimidated, the organizers relented. Weeks later, Vanessa sat on stage, poorly prepared, offering shallow remarks while others carried the discussion. Yet afterward, still feeling overconfident, she boasted to her friends, "Did you see me? I looked amazing up there. See, ladies, I told you. It's always about who you know more than what you know. After all, I did some research, and you could barely tell I wasn't in that sector." Her pride blinded her to the truth. She had been awkward on that panel. At the grand reception under lantern lights, the daughters of Riverstone stepped forward with beads. tokens that allowed men to propose marriage. Daniel's eyes searched until they rested on Grace, who stood quietly at the side. "You do not hold any beads," he said softly. Grace smiled. "I am here for Miss Alexandra. Maybe next year I'll have a chance to hold beads." Daniel smiled, nodded, and said, "Then I guess I need to complete the tasks again next year, so you may consider holding my beads." Grace was shocked by this. She blushed and looked at Daniel shyly. They had a long conversation. Daniel was convinced that he had found his wife in Grace. Michael stood proudly beside Vanessa. He had decided quite early on that she would be the one he would marry. Her father's name, wealth, and her beauty would be an asset. "Together, with my father's power and your family's name, we will rule this city," she whispered. Michael's chest swelled. She was exactly the kind of woman his pride desired. Time revealed their choices. Daniel and Grace built their home on humility and diligence. When a business deal arose that promised quick riches, Grace counseled, "Let your pride be in building something that lasts, not in chasing shadows." Daniel listened, and their patience brought steady success. Michael and Vanessa, however, pursued vanity and appearances. When a flashy investment appeared, Vanessa urged, "If we don't take it, others will outshine us. Imagine the glory." Blinded, Michael agreed. The deal collapsed, leaving them drowning in debts. Their pride, once a crown, became chains. One evening, Richard Williams sat his sons beneath the great oak tree in their estate garden. "My sons," he said, "pride is like fire. As a gift, it warms, lights the way, and inspires. Misused, it burns and destroys. A wife is a crown of pride and a covering of grace, but only for the man who wears his pride with humility." This is what the Baobab echoed about pride. What will it echo about you? Let us consider this truth. Yes, pride can be a gift, but it depends on the kind of pride and how it's held. Healthy pride affirms your worth, celebrates your achievements, and motivates you to grow. It is a form of self-respect, rooted in culture, heritage, and personal journey. Toxic pride becomes a burden, arrogant, insecure, and destructive. So I ask you, dear listener, what kind of pride do you carry? And what kind of pride do you want to live by? Remember to share your thoughts in the comments, like, share, and subscribe to know what the Baobab will echo next.